Hello, Diana.
Hi, Samantha.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to our episode of KISS.
Keep it simple, sister.
And today on KISS, we're going to have some interesting conversations about the concept of reality. But before that, we're going to introduce a few other things. So I want you guys to remember that this whole thing that we're doing here, it's all about feeling great by feeling better. Small incremental changes that you make in your life so that they build up and they add to your resourcefulness, your reserve, your ability to get through the day and feel fabulous. Did I hit that?
Yes, totally. All right,
Cool.
I'm going to start with our flip side.
Okay.
And I was struggling a little bit to find the flip side, but then I remembered what my
Some weeks
biggest
are like
struggle.
that. Sometimes things are just easy going.
I know, but really then I remembered it wasn't for a minute. So here it goes. So I have been trying to build my not internet, I guess, social media presence. And I'm trying to learn how to use Instagram stories and Facebook stories. And I think that we discussed previously that computer technology, all that stuff is a struggle for me. So I was really proud of myself and I was like, okay, I can go on Instagram and I can take some pictures and then I can save them. And later I can put like things on them, but I don't know how to put the things on them yet, like the words and the music and all of that stuff. But I figured out how to do the picture. So I was like, all right, okay, picture this, picture this, picture this, picture that. I did them all, thought I was saving them, but apparently they were being posted like immediately. So I did it. And some of them I would not even have posted. Like, I was just doing them just for the fun of it. And I would have, fixed it a little bit or whatever. So that's embarrassing. It's a little bit embarrassing. So I was driving. I didn't realize any of this had happened. And my daughter Annie was like, "So mom, your pictures are on Facebook and Instagram." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Isn't that good? Isn't it good that I did that?" And she's like, "Well, I was thinking you're really feeling yourself because it was picture after picture after picture after picture."
I love that. You're really feeling yourself, Mom.
And I was like, I wasn't feeling what do you mean picture after picture after picture after picture? Can I delete it? How do I delete it? I don't know. How do I delete it? Well, I couldn't delete it. But the flip side is that what I thought was horrible, it's part of my brand, I've decided.
That zany, crazy, non-techie, individual Diana.
Exactly. Like take it or leave it. I don't care because I'm trying my best I'm a podcaster now. Pretty soon I'll be an influencer. I'm not really sure how that might happen because I think you have to have tech skills to be an influencer. I don't know. Hopefully I'm influencing. But anyway, so a couple people commented, "I'd love to see your face everywhere." I was like,
I love that. That is
okay, that's my flip side.
okay. So that's a good flip side. And it's so you, which is what I love. It is so you.
Well,
Uh,
that's why I said it's my brand because I can't, I just have to be myself. That's got to be my brand. I am who I am, and that's all that I am.
yes, exactly. Yep. Own it. Own it. Okay. So my flip side, I'm veering off of cats. I know everyone was so intrigued and they were following me every single podcast, listening to my story about cats, but I'm veering off of cats.
Okay, good. There's
So
more life than cats.
yes. Most people know, and those who don't, I'm an intuitive, I'm a medium, and I'm also a spiritual life coach, which means that I don't just do a one-time session with someone, like somebody comes back to me over and over again to work through specific topics, emotional blocks and stuff like that. So this was just one of my multidimensional channeling sessions. I had a client come in and she brought an awareness to me, which I really enjoy when I have these awarenesses. So, I like when we share these flip sides because we let people know things aren't always perfect in our life. The difference is for us that we are vibrating, we are keeping ourselves in this higher, happier state of being, which makes us more resilient to any of the crap that does come in. So,
Right.
and we also look at things that are more challenging and we have more of a positive light on them. We see the benefit of it, I guess is what I'm saying. So for
The
me,
life lesson.
yes, a life lesson. So for me, with what I've been going through, oftentimes relationships, marriages, they get challenging, and we've been going through a challenging time. And I'm often, as we women often do, we sit there and we try to figure out, well, how can I make it better? What is it I need to do? What do I need to change? And we start going around in circles, trying, right, to find the answers. And the whole idea is the answers are there. Stop looking for them. Take a deep breath, relax, focus on yourself. The answers come to you, right?
Right.
And so, the challenging thing has been I've been back in that kind of wobbling between trying to find the answers and just sitting back and letting the answers come. And here I have a client walk in and they are dealing with some issues that were so similar to what I was dealing with. And I get to sit back, and especially when I'm doing multidimensional channeling, because that's conscious channeling. So I'm allowing information from higher source to come through me, out through my mouth, but I am sitting back. So I'm not interfering with it. So it's kind of like, let me grab the popcorn. I've got a front row seat to whatever information's coming through, and I'm listening to the conversation taking place. So I'm
So you're
listening.
not interpreting it, you're just letting it fly.
Exactly. And I'm not figuring anything out.
Right.
So I'm listening to the conversation she's having with this higher being BB, and lo and behold, I'm getting answers about where I need to position myself in the relationship. And like it's just such a lovely process because it's not, oh, go do this and you need to do that, but it's more, um where is your mindset? Where is your perspective? What is it that is actually within the realm of what you can control, facilitate, manifest? And so I'm listening to this and having aha moments. And, so I guess what I'm saying is, and this is kind of a huge flip side actually, because I love when I have clients coming in with these challenging issues because I learn as much as they're learning, and especially that when it's applied to an active situation in my life, it's like
Hmm.
there's a bonus there. And so even though I'm going through a challenging time, it's still like, wow, like I just get lifted up by it, get so much insight. So that's my flip side.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love
Thank
it. Love
you.
it. And I'm gonna slide in a little advertising for your services right now. Everybody, tell them where to look to schedule, because I'm gonna authorize you to reach out to Samantha and work with her because she is amazing.
Thank you.
A fire
Um,
within.
yeah, it's a fire within me.
Okay.
A fire within me. And
Eh,
look, when you go to our website, it's kiss.afirewithin.me. So
Oh, okay.
you're actually halfway there to my website. And my link is actually in our group. So yeah.
Great. Well, and I can't wait for some people to start working with you and giving some feedback in the group, because I have story after story after story that I could tell. And I haven't, I mean, I've been busy because I'm a podcaster. So eventually I'll start telling my stories.
Oh my God. I love that.
All
Oh,
right. So our positive path for today is going to be about creating your own reality.
hmm.
And so I was the one that came across it, and I'm going to ask Samantha some questions. So I'm going to tell you where I'm coming from, and then hopefully you can fill in the blanks of the blanks that I have.
Oh, wait,
So
let me preface
yes,
this by this is how a lot of our conversations when we were getting to know each other, Diana would come up with concepts or I would introduce something, but oftentimes she would come up with a concept and she would share it looking for the greater exploration. But the thing is, like, even though I respond to it, it's not the capital T truth. Two different truths can reside in the same space. It's your perspective. And what was the other thing I was going to say? And it's also I'm learning as much from the conversation. Like, information is downloading and coming through me to give both Diana and I the information when we have these conversations, which is why Diana says, like, sometimes Samantha looks off to the side, she'll go, oh yeah, and then fill in the information.
Yeah, and then sometimes I'll say, "Hey, can you ask your people about this?" And she's like, "That's not the way it works." I'm like, "Okay,
No,
well,
but
I'm gonna
they
ask
do,
you,
but
and
they
hopefully
do.
you will get some information." So, again, a lot of my questions and a lot of my musings and wonderings come from Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks. And I was listening to one of the channeling sessions from them, and they were talking about the fact that we are creator beings. We create our own reality, which is a whole different perspective, because so many of us are just waiting back to see what happens to us,
Yeah, life happening
not
to us, that's
for
victim.
us,
Yeah.
or that we have any control over those things. It's kind of like we're in the victim of life. Life is happening to us.
Hmm.
Um, so one of my mantra things that I always have been saying is, you can be or do or have anything. You can be or do or have anything. And so many of us don't believe that that's true,
Hmm.
but it's true, because we can create our reality. But I don't really understand how that all works. So I guess my question to you is, how are we? I know what you think about, you bring about. I know that the universe and God and our inner selves are bringing things to us that we're thinking and wondering and worrying and whatever about. But how do we create this reality? How do I create what I want? I'm a how-to girl, but this feeling stuff is no how-to. But what's your understanding about creator being?
Okay. So gonna go into the woo-woo here. So
Okay,
y'all just hang with me.
I'm asking for woo-woo right
Oh,
here, right now.
okay, okay. So we are the way that I describe it is gonna back up here a little bit. If you look at a diamond ring, it's got multiple facets. Okay. And each of those, okay, so think of the diamond ring that, or the diamond, as the diamond is the soul. It is the oversoul. It is the higher self. And
Okay,
each facet on that diamond is an aspect of that higher self coming down into this physical reality to have an experience.
okay,
They're not coming here to win the game. They're not coming here to, you know, um, well, I don't want to say like the thing I want you to focus on is they're coming down here to experience. That is the only goal, is to come and experience. Now they may have a mission, they may have this, whatever, but they're coming here to experience, right?
okay.
So you are an aspect of that higher self having come down into physical manifestation. And what that's saying is you are a spark of the divine, which
Okay.
means you are an actual creator being. You are, when you're a spark of the divine, like you can't accept that concept without understanding that you are an aspect of God. It's that whole oneness thing.
Yes.
We're all part of the one. So it's not
And
like,
that's going to be a whole nother conversation. That whole part of the one thing is still a little bit confusing to me too, but okay.
yeah, it's like, and certain things you can only wrap your head around once you get to, like, okay, I understand this concept, excuse me, and then I understand the next concept. It's it's
Right.
it's a stepping up of awareness. But anyway, so I keep trying to simplify it. Um, so that means that you have come here just, I'm not saying you are a god, you are a creator being. I mean, the emphasis that we have on gods is that they're above and they're better. And no, everything as of equal energetic value, whatever. So
Okay.
you're a creator being. And what that means is you have the ability to draw to you any circumstances, any whatever that you would like. Now, here's the caveat. When you come into this existence, I always love this visual, but when you choose to come into this existence, there's a lot of things that flavor your experience. Think of it in terms of you decided to come in because you want to learn what it feels like to grow through hardship. You want to grow and understand, maybe it's just how to be a more loving being. Okay. But you can't know if all you are is love, you can't know what it's like to go through the process of becoming love, learning what love is. You have to have the contrast in order to experience it. So
Okay.
when you're coming this lifetime, you set up a roadmap of, well, in order for me to come in and have this, I've got to have some contrast in my life, meaning I've got to maybe choose to have an accident. Maybe I have a spouse who's unfaithful. Maybe I have a divorce. Maybe I discover someone else, and you come up with all of these things that you believe will help you enhance and grow. And you can only grow through the contrast. You can't grow if everything's wonderful. So as you're coming up with all of these ideas about how you're going to do this, at the same time, you've got another soul, an aspect of a soul going, well, I want to experience this. And so they go, look, I could be that spouse who cheats on you. And someone else can say, oh, wait, I want to be the person you meet afterwards. So all of a sudden you have this very intricate weaving of this beautiful tapestry of life. So everyone's coming in to play these various roles. So in essence, it's a big play. And we're all playing our parts, our predefined parts. That
Okay.
doesn't mean you can't go off script. It just means there are these predefined parts that you're going to kind of guide your way through in life and pick up lessons along the way. But you can always choose whether you're going to go straight after it, or you're going to take the long way around, or you're just going to go, yep, not interested, tapping
Got
out.
it.
So, as a creator being, you have decided, I'm going to have this experience. You're walking through your day and you're going, do I want this experience to be more of an uplifting nature, or do I need to dive down more and be more unhappy, or whatever? You have the choice of what you want your emotional content of your day to be like. Because I'm trying to bring this back around to creating your reality, but how we talk about, always looking for the positive. So you have your predefined path. This person has their predefined path. And as Abraham Hicks talks about, that there's no, what do they say? There's no, not intervention, that somebody can't step over into your life and impact you unless you allow it. What's that word? I always,
I don't know.
it always like goes out of my mind. There is no, okay. Just know that
If
somebody
it comes to me, I'm going to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Please do. Somebody can't come into your life and make something happen without your willingness, your agreement. But that's all happening on a higher level. So just know that somebody coming into your life and maybe flipping you the finger for not going through, rushing through a light or whatever it is, that for whatever reason, that's kind of, you're playing with that on a higher level. You're playing with that aspect. There is an allowance there. In other words, you can't, once you understand this concept, you can never call yourself a victim, because you are an allowance, so that you're throwing, it's kind of like throwing curveballs. Like, okay, everything's going great. Now we're going to throw a curveball here. Somebody's going to get pissed off at you. How are you going to react to it?
Mhm.
And by the nature of your reaction, you're learning what you like, what you want, what you don't want. And you're understanding how to respond. And it's just how you're going to experience this reality. Does that make sense? That was a
Yeah.
big concept. Sorry, you guys.
Well, and I guess it
We can
all
dumb it
wraps
down a little.
itself around our flip side and how we're trying to have a perspective where we're looking for positive or whatever. So if I okay, I'm trying to think of a good example. So let's go back to my car that was going to cost $4,000 to fix it or whatever.
Okay.
Um, if I let myself get really upset about that and depressed and oh my God, woe is me, I would create unhappiness in my surrounding.
Yeah.
I would create a problem that was making me not feel good.
And what would be
But
worse is you'd be in that mode and you'd be attracting, like, you want to validate how bad it is. So then you're going to draw another thing to you to validate exactly how bad this is. And then it's like, you'll go, wow, my day is shit. Right. And so
yeah,
to validate that your day is shit, you're going to pull more negative stuff to you.
well, it's kind of like the children's book is Alexander and the No Good, Very Bad Day, whatever that is. Just thing after thing after thing after thing. So I guess where I want to go with this is that we can create a better situation. And it's kind of like what we were talking about, the momentum to manifest momentum and,
Mhm.
just some techniques. If we realize that we have control over that, then you have a whole different day than you would have had otherwise.
Yeah.
If
Well,
we realize that we wanted this stuff to happen and we were wanting this stuff to happen, we're not in victim mode anymore.
it's all happening up here, these decisions. And then it comes down to, well, how are you going to respond? How are you going to, that's why I love the teachings of Bashar, who's channeled by Daryl Anka, and there's another individual who channels from the Essassani civilization, which I've heard is us way down the road. Big concept, sorry, but and that's
And we
Rio.
can give you some links in YouTube to some of these
I better
channeling
write that down.
videos if you're interested.
Bashar and Ryok, Ryok, and what Bashar talks about is is the idea of every situation is neutral. It literally is, think of Bob Ross standing in front of a blank canvas. Bob Ross could sit there and go, "Oh, I don't have the color I want for the sky. God damn it." Does
Mhm.
Bob Ross ever do that?
No, it's
Everything, remember,
not.
everything's a happy little accident for him.
Yes.
So what Bashar is teaching, because we are creator beings, we have a blank canvas. We have certain things we've set up, these dynamics to run us through like rats in a maze, so that we have something to bounce off of and go, how am I going to respond to this? How am I going to respond to that? And it's fun because we're learning about ourselves doing this, even though we might look at it as very tragic at the moment. If you are think about any movie you've ever watched about immortal beings, they have less appreciation, less understanding about the nature of life and existence because they don't have that time and space to define the preciousness of it. So that's why we're here, is defining that preciousness, understanding and developing those qualities of that understanding. So going back to Bashar, so he teaches every situation is neutral. And think of it in terms like this: when you're having a conversation with your girlfriend, we do this all the time, where they say, "I got to tell you something that happened," and you're like, "Okay," and you want to be a really good girlfriend, right? So you want to make sure that you're validating her. And she sits there and says, I met this guy, and he was really cute. And you're like, "Okay," and you're feeling good for your girlfriend, and then your girlfriend says, and he said, "Let's go out." And then like, he doesn't call me. And inside, like, you haven't said anything to your look at the look on your face. Yeah, you're immediately going, "God damn him." And you're feeling bad for your girlfriend. And then she goes, "But then he sent me roses." And you're like, whoa, so
Okay.
you kind of sit in that state of going up and down in your emotions, depending on what she says. And you're really holding your own counsel till the very end, the summation, right? And once she gives you what the result was, that's when you tend to go, okay, how am I going to paint this? What has she told me? If she says the experience was wonderful, you go, "Oh, well, then it was a wonderful experience. How neat. That was weird that he did this, but how great that he did that." Or if she says, and if the situation turned out horrible, then you go, "Oh my God, that was horrible." So do you see, like, you're waiting for that person to define for you what the reality was of that situation. Whereas, we also have triggers that come into play, but just ignore all that. Like if a guy didn't respond, you would have been like, screw him, you know.
Yeah.
But just take all the triggers out of it, just the nature of following a conversation. So that situation was neutral the whole way through. And that's what all of life is for us. It's all neutral. And then we get to decide, how do we want to paint this canvas? Your car just blew out a tire. Okay. And you're late for a meeting because of that. So you can sit there and go, oh my God, this is horrible. Oh my God, this is, and the more you sit there and go, oh my God, this is awful, this is horrible, the more, like in your example, you have to prove the validity. You're creating, it's the law of balance. You're creating that negative space. And I don't mean just like negative, but you're creating an
Avoid.
imbalanced state. So
Mhm.
then, the universe has to bring more of that to you. That's your creation. Whereas if you turn around and say, you know what, I wonder why this happened. It's always to turn to that curious state of being. First, go to neutral, like, interesting. And then turn to curious. I wonder why this happened. This is interesting. See, you're not a victim. You're just observing. You become an observer.
Mhm.
And just, that's interesting. Wonder why that happened. I know that I'm going to know. And when I find out, that's going to be interesting too. And so you just hold everything in reserve and allow life to just unfold. And when you do that, and you go into that whole, well, okay, it's this or something better, and everything is always working out for me, which would be the most natural response, is everything's always working out for me. Then all of a sudden these nuggets can fall into your life. That is you creating your life. That's you creating your life experience. You can um expand upon, the negative, or you can embrace and bring in more of the positive. So does that get
Yeah, that
closer to
totally
what?
makes sense. And it kind of goes back to, so for years and years and years, you run across somebody and they say, hey, how are you doing? Or the checkout lady at the grocery store, whatever.
Mhm.
My response is always fabulous. I'm fabulous. And they get shocked and they're like, you are. But I've always done that. And what it does is it makes me feel fabulous. It makes me, even if I'm not feeling fabulous, if I say I'm fabulous, it makes me feel better. But it
Yeah.
also gets that shocked reaction. They smile, you smile. They're wondering if you're crazy. You know you're not crazy, but it really just kind of lightens everybody's day. And so that's creating a situation that either could have been negative or could have just been whatever. But all of us just say, how are you? We don't care how they are.
Hmm.
But once I tell you fabulous, you're wondering why,
What are you doing
right?
that's
What are you
making you
doing? What do you got
fabulous? Yeah.
there? What's happening over there? So it makes it a whole different kind of interchange. So try it. And I tell people that all the time, like, try it, you'll like it. It's
Yep.
fun.
It makes a huge, huge difference.
Well,
So
and there are people that say, how are you? Oh, I'm living the dream. But what's the dream? What's your dream? What's my dream? Can you live your dream? Sure, you can. This or something better.
this or something better, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that makes
Let me see what else I had. Living the dream. Oh, you can be or do or have anything.
Mhm.
If you believe that you can be or do or have anything, you can create that. But it all comes with the belief that it's possible.
Well, so here's the caveat to that. Um, that is absolutely true. Um, Yet there are a few things that we need to recognize, that you can believe that the sky is green, but the sky is not going to suddenly be green, because when, again, okay, coming into this third dimension reality, um, there is an agreement that we all make when we come into this. It is its own plane of existence, and it's an agreement of physics. Gravity is going to keep you tethered to the earth, and the sky, the prisms of the rainbow, however light refracts and all that, is going to be in play. So the sky will only look kind of green if the barometric pressure drops to a certain range. It's otherwise it's going to be blue unless there's clouds or storm, whatever.
Mm.
So there's certain laws of physics that come into play. Then the other thing is, like, you can say, well, I want to have, say, $1,000. Okay. Um, Generally, there's a couple of things going on as to why it's not suddenly there. One is um, split energy. You may want that $1,000, but the moment that $1,000, or you start thinking, wow, okay, that $1,000 coming to me, then you sit there and go, but if I have $1,000 come to me, all of a sudden, you know, my husband will want some of it. And so I won't have the $1,000. And right there, that thought right there puts the brakes on and it stops it from happening. Okay. Or the government will take some of the money, it just like that. Um, there's the other aspect of that in the timing of everything going on in your current reality, that you having $1,000 would cause you to veer off and go a different direction. Whereas, like, a lot of people who are what we call light workers, energy, healers and mediums and channelers, all of the other, that we're here to help humanity. We're all serving humanity. That if we suddenly had a lot of money, would we still be as involved and integrated into the service of humanity? It's always a question, because would I work as hard? Would I be here in front of people constantly? Yes, I love to give service, but that opens up to a possibility of me going to travel and doing all kinds of other things that would pull me away from this focus.
Right.
So it might be that right now is not the time for you to have that money, even though you think you want it. Yeah, it's an escape. It's a easy way out, but that's not the lesson you're supposed to be learning right now. So when you point to, well, that person's always lucky, well, that might be a part of their growth pattern, what they set in for them to learn how to deal with a sudden influx of money, but it's not for you to deal with. So there's a couple of other things that play with the be do have. So
Uh-huh.
you focus on that. You don't say, well, if it's not my path, I won't have it. Or if it was my path, I'd already have it. It's that you focus on, you know, I can be, do, or have anything I want. And what I'd like right now is $1,000. I'm putting that out there to the universe. If that is a part of the plan, that can happen at this time, and you don't have to say all that. It's just kind of a known thing to the universe. So you just say, this would be really cool. But it's the understanding that if it doesn't come to you, first make sure that you don't have any energetic blocks that are preventing it from happening, any disbeliefs, and then just realize, okay, if it hasn't come now, I know that it will when everything is aligned, and it's the right timing. And just go with that, be in acceptance of it. Because if you're not in acceptance of it, let's get all, what is it, Tao, or is it like the Buddhist kind of thing where it's like, you know, um, you get into that state of being of just, it doesn't matter whether it comes or not. I'm going to be happy regardless. You have to be you have to find that happiness, that feeling within yourself. And, you know, so everything that comes to you is just a bonus. Life is a lot more fun that way.
There's another saying, and I don't know if it's Esther Hicks or somebody else, but well, the this or something better, but also how does it get
How
how's it
does it
any
get any
better
better than
than
this?
this? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
if you're
that's
thinking
access
you love
consciousness.
what's access consciousness,
Mhm.
you're thinking what's happening right now is great, but how's it get any better than this? And yes, of course it will. It can,
Mhm.
whatever. But if you're loving what's happening in the moment, then there's a much greater probability of more greatness coming.
Well, because again, that, goes back to the title, Create Your Reality. That right there, you're in the moment, you're enjoying something, and you're like, how does it get any better than this? And you're putting an order out to the universe. You're not saying, send me $1,000. You're not saying, send me a roast beef sandwich. You're just saying, throw some stuff my way, whatever it is. I don't even know what I may not even aware what it is, but and it might not even happen right now. You're just, how's it getting better than this? And it might be a week later and all of a sudden something greater happens. But it's putting out the potential. it's literally creating that again, it's almost like you're fishing and you're reeling something back in. And if you just go, yeah, well, nothing snapped that time, you throw your pole down and say, forget it. Honestly, fishermen, they are, I just realized they're probably one of the best examples. They go fish because they enjoy fishing. They
It's
enjoy
fun to fish,
maybe
right?
it's drinking beer, maybe it's getting away from, the nagging, maybe it could be a number of things. And I'm being
Energy
very,
of the lake, pond,
yeah.
whatever. It
And
just makes you
understand
feel
I
good,
am being horribly general right now, and I'm saying
right?
like it's men going and doing this, but so I'm just using the male fisherman going out, getting away from all of the headspace, all the noise, all of the whatever. So in a sense, going to fish is their meditation time, and they're already feeling in that good space because they're feeling that freedom of just being. And then they're going, okay, how does it get any better than this? Well, I'm going to cast my reel and see what happens. That is the perfect example of this whole concept. And yes, sometimes the day can go to shit, sometimes it can rain. Um, but they're generally good because they got to go out. They got to
Right,
be free.
exactly. And if the perception is they focus on the good part of it, they got to go out, they got to experience it
Mhm.
before the rain came or whatever.
Exactly.
All right, I think we probably have to kind of get toward wrapping it up,
Okay.
but our new format is that we're going to do our weekend wanderlust at the end of each of our recordings. I was going to say
Yep.
taping, but that's not true. It's recording.
Oh, you guys, for women of a certain age, that is the hardest thing to go from saying taping to recording. Yes.
So, our idea is
Oh, wait. No, no, no.
what? Oh, I forgot about the bag of sweary affirmations tag. Okay, let's do that first. My little bag of sweary affirmations.
See the little bag of swear.
Um,
So these are cards that are they have little sweary affirmations. You know what? And they're in our store. And just know they could have sweary words.
Curse words because they're
Deal with
sweary.
it.
Okay, stop.
Okay, whoop, there.
Stop. Yep.
I like this. You're gonna
They're
love this.
always right on time.
Get up, and show the world you're a fucking legend.
Yes, you are. I am. We are.
It goes back to all of those everyone loves those poems that talk about you got to dance like nobody's watching, like,
Watching.
or the idea of if you knew you were going to die the next day, what would you do today? You would go out. So yeah, get up, show up, and show the world you are a fucking legend. And just because in the end, it's all you, what you're creating. You want to create a world where you're small and tiny and you don't let your light show. That's up to you. That's
Letting your light shine is fun, though. I'm just
it's
going to
so
tell you
much more
right
fun.
now. It is fun. All right. So our weekend wanderlust is usually a tool to kind of help practice this. And one that I have done is to write as if something already happened. So my favorite, like my dream at this point is to go to Paris. I want to go to Paris. Don't know when, don't know how, whatever. I am going to write, I am in Paris as if it's already happened or I was in Paris. Should we do past tense?
Um,
I went to Paris and
yeah.
blah, 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 blah. So
What I
basically, it's,
really enjoyed was blah blah blah. That kind
yeah, so it's a
of
dream, but you're writing it as if that dream, as if that dream came true.
Mhm.
And so you're writing it as if 6 months from now, you're looking back and that dream came true. And the more detailed that you can be, the more fun it is to write it. But what's amazing is so many times when you write that as if, you'll look back on that and it really did happen. Like you're thinking you're dreaming big, you're shooting for the moon,
Uh-huh.
and then either it happened exactly as you write it down, or some aspect is very similar and you don't even know how that happened, why that happened, where it happened. You have no idea, but you created it.
Exactly. I love that.
I mean, and going to Paris is kind of a big deal kind of thing, but it could even be I
It could
don't
just
know.
be a really, okay, so maybe you have a lot of chaos in your life. And so you could just sit there and say, um, here's kind of a shorter term way of doing it if you want to do it. Is just say, I had a great day today. Today was really awesome. I got up this morning and I just noticed the way the sun rose and it was so beautiful. And I had time to actually taste, my coffee or make, tea the way I like it and have a few minutes to just read a little bit or explore some thoughts, whatever. And I really got going around lunchtime where I got to eat again. Thinking about food. um, I had a friend come by and we got to go out to this new place I'd never been before. So you could just do it in the scope of a day. If if right now the chaos is so much that you just want to, God, I mean, just think of how that feels. Like I always love getting to the energy of something feels. Having a day go smoothly,
Yeah,
and most of my days are like that, even when hecticness happens, because I already kind of prepave it that way. It already feels that way. I already look at the bright side of things,
expect it.
for the most part. Yeah. But if you are experiencing that chaos and to sit there and just, it's so soothing. But this is what you're telling the universe you're experiencing. And, again, the law of balance, the universe abhors a vacuum. And so it's got to fill that in. It's got to give you the essence of those things. It might not be all in one day, but you'll just go, oh my God, the other morning, I had such an amazing time. Like I had 2 hours that I don't normally have to just sit and sip my tea and look out and, look at nature or whatever. So it
Mhm.
might not come all in that one big chunk. So, but
And
I
there
would say definitely do the big overarching one just
Well,
to,
it's fun to shoot for the moon and have the big dream and the big thing that would make you feel like, again, you're going to tune into how is that going to make you feel?
Mhm,
And that's where a
exactly.
lot of the description, when I looked at the Eiffel Tower, I felt so excited because I had seen it on the movie. And Emily Goes to Paris. And I was thinking, if I was Emily, I would love to live in her apartment because she can look out at the Eiffel Tower and that would just make me so joyous. And so, yeah, and there is something about writing it in past tense. There's something about writing it as if it already happened. So that's what your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to write as if, and you decide whatever it is that you want to have happen.
And we're going to do it also. And we're going to
Yeah.
submit what we write into the Facebook group so you guys can see that we're doing this stuff too.
Well, and I have a couple of them that I've done before. If I can get them
No, but
out, because
you got to write a fresh one.
no, but when I go back and look at it,
Oh, uh-huh.
and see what has happened that's either exactly the same thing or so similar that I never thought would happen.
Oh, so show an
That's
example.
a fun activity too, because it puts
Yeah,
me in the feeling of, oh, I remember feeling there's no way this would ever happen. And look, wow, it did.
that's so cool.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna write a fresh one, but I just for that experience of looking back a year later, 2 years later,
Mhm,
and seeing that either every single thing came true, or at least aspects of what I expected and wanted to happen have happened.
mhm. I love that.
Yeah, it's
Yay.
gonna be fun.
Okay, this is gonna be good.
Yeah,
So guys, if you haven't previously subscribed, please subscribe. Put comments
click
down
the
below,
like,
hit the like,
follow
do
us,
the things, and
and
please go
come
join our
come to the
Facebook group.
Facebook group.
Yeah.
There are many people that we have invited, but if you want to be invited and we haven't invited you, we'd love to have you.
Mhm.
So the more the merrier in the Kiss Podcast Facebook group.
Yep. Okay. You
All right.
guys have a fantastic week and a lovely weekend.
Yes, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.